Quaid-e-Azam, Part 230. Raja Sahib Mahmudabad, in some memoirs, echoing what H.R.A. Beg said in his memoirs, "My advocacy of an Islamic state brought me into conflict with Jinnah. He thoroughly disapproved of my ideas and dissuaded me from expressing them publicly from the League platform, lest the people might be led to believe that Jinnah shared my view and that he was asking me to convey such ideas to the public. As I was convinced that I was right and did not want to compromise Jinnah's position, I decided to cut myself away and for nearly 2 years kept my distance from him. Apart from seeing him during the working committee meetings and on other formal occasions. With or without real intent, this dice of United India's future had been rolled, and it kept rolling faithfully from one event to another for the next six event-filled years. The Cripps Mission 1942, Quit India April to September 1942, the Wavell Viceroyalty June 1943, and the Shimla Conference, September 1944. The Second World War ends, the Cabinet Mission, July 1946. The Interim Government, July 1946. Wavell to Mountbatten, the fixing of a time limit. The final deconstruction of India. How could a positive outcome have emerged when all along we were set to dismember this one India? No, dismember one India, to actually discontract it. It is in this event-filled short period that we now travel along with those men and women who then held United India's future in their hands. Well, I've got the lines by The Vanity of Human Wishes, 1749. Most helpless man in ignorance sedate. Most helpless man in ignorance sedate. Roll darkling down the torrent of his fate. Roll darkling down the torrent of his fate. It was by Samuel Johnson, The Vanity of Human Wishes, year 1749. The backdrop. The Cripps Mission, though, was still considered a possible opening despite all that had already happened. It believed that amongst the various other factors that finally led to this mission was also weekend at Philkins Cripps country house, to which Nehru had been invited while on a visit to England some years earlier in the period June-October 1938. He went with Krishna Menon. Others on that weekend's guest list were Attlee, Anurin Bevan, and Herod Losky, apart from the host himself, Cripps, amounting almost to a weekend meet of India Conciliation Group Subcommittee. Amongst the subjects discussed were the means by which the next Labour government would transfer power in India. The ideas considered included a constituent assembly composed on the basis of universal suffrage, subject to the separate minority representation and the election of members from princely states. Once this body had adopted a constitution, the Crown's treaties with the princes would lapse. So at least this subcommittee, and then surmised in London a fortnight later, Nehru therefore told a meeting that the idea of an all India federation ought to be abandoned in favour of a constituent assembly.